Hello, my name is Nick Elmizra. I'm a consultant trauma surgeon from the Major Trauma Centre at Aintree University Hospital and health lead and colleague of Nadine at the Merseyside VRP. So since 2018, we've been running a campaign called KnifeSavers that some of you may have heard about. And Nadine thought that this would be a good idea to introduce it to this forum. It's a big year for us this year, and we're making a significant pivot into education and need your help. Now, I'm going to try and share my screen. I'm speaking to you from a 13-year-old Mac that had a massive meltdown 40 minutes ago. So wish me luck.
Good luck.
Has that worked?
Yeah, you might just want to put it in presentation mode.
It's worked. That's amazing. Hang on. How about now?
If you go to slide, perfect. There we go.
Okay, I can't see you, so I'm going to go on an audio cue. So very brief whistle-stop tour of what this thing is. So talk about the campaign first of all. This started at the Major Trauma Centre at Aintree University Hospital 2018 as our direct healthcare response to what was a growing problem with mortalities in young people from knives and interpersonal violence. We had a bad summer in 2018, and our response, my response, was something that brought our knowledge and skills onto the streets and the communities of Merseyside, as it were. The aim of the campaign is to educate and empower literally anyone and everyone how to control bleeding from knife wounds. And actually, that's going to change, and it's going to be the aim has pivoted towards control bleeding from any cause, and to understand how to recognise major bleeding and what to do about it, not just from knife wounds. Two parts of the campaign. Biggest part, without a doubt, is the education. Teaching anyone and everyone, not just young people in schools and colleges, but absolutely anyone, anywhere, of any age, about what bleeding is, why we need time-critical control. Wrapped up inside that is a very clear, non-judgmental, non-preachy message delivered by clinicians about the dangers of a single knife wound from our perspective. And the second part is kit. You might see a load of these all around. Your schools and colleges may have some. So this is bleeding control kits and cabinets, and these are what the kits essentially look like. And these are little red bleeding control, essentially trauma first aid kits containing 3 things that make a big difference. The first bit is something called a hemostatic gauze that's put inside wounds in direct contact with the injured blood vessel, and that stops blood or helps to make blood clots 3 times quicker than it would do normally. Wrapped around that is number 2, the trauma dressing, an elasticated dressing that applies compression to the wound, and the third is a tourniquet. The education, we talk in very simplistic, fundamental terms, no medical jargon, no clinical jargon. For example, how much blood is in our bodies. We talk about relating it to everyday things like bottles of Coke, and how little time we have. If you want to screw 1 bottle of Coke or 2 litre bottle of Coke and empty it, essentially that's all we've got in our bodies, 2 litres, until our circulation starts to collapse any further, we go into cardiac arrest. Now that's not a lot, but when it's illustrated in such a format, we've found it's had quite a profound effect. So whistle-stop tour of where we came from. We started in 2019 in the nighttime economy of the city centre, where we brought together around 20 to 25 of the bars, clubs and restaurants around the Seal Street area, brought them together, trained them in the very same education and teaching that we give in schools and anywhere about bleeding control, what we do and why you have to act quickly. A few years ago, after young Ava White, Steph, who worked really closely with Ava's mum and her foundation, and what I wanted to do was to bring these kits that were put around the city to make them publicly accessible. And then you may have seen these bright red boxes popping up around the city centre. There might be some around your schools, outside the schools. I know pretty much all of the schools and colleges in Sefton, I think, have one outside, and I definitely encourage you to get one there, not just for the use of the school, but as a central point for the community as well. So these are like defib cabinets. A problem happens, you see one of these cabinets, you ring 999, you get an access code, and the kits are inside. Not just the city centre, but there's some around Crosby Beach and Formby Beach as well, and quite a lot of areas around Merseyside. education, well, just before the pandemic hit, we went to a number of schools, I think 4 colleges actually. We're going to go to our 5th when the world locked down. Holton College, I'm not sure if there's any members, people on the call from Riverside College. We went to train some of their staff. Joe, this is Joe from our team. And very soon after that, there was an unfortunate incident where students from the college were involved in an altercation, were injured, and the ambulance brought the patients to ourselves. They did very well. And what were the feedback that we got at the time, and I'm really keen to get further feedback on that, is I know it's years down the line, but was with the staff that were using the skills and the knowledge in the packs were in kind of knife savers mode, as we call it. So confidence had been installed and imbued. We do a lot of work with the football clubs around the region, Liverpool and Everton, but specifically recently with Liverpool Football Club. We've run a number of very large events for the local schools, as facilitated by the LFC Foundation, who've been absolutely amazing. And it's like a conveyor belt of education. So the same way that we impart the knowledge of the same messaging, the same language, the same messages about bleeding control we give at all ages, that we did in the city centre to the door staff and the bar staff, that we do to the students of the schools. And we get the great days, such good fun. The clinicians of the KnifeSavers team, it's absolutely our favourite days. And we get some great feedback as well. And we use this iteratively to change the delivery of the education, the messaging of the education as well. And actually we get some feedback as to how some of the students that have been through our programme have actually used the skills off our programme to help someone else. We collect a lot of data about the efficacy of our education, actually working with John Moores University and Zara Quigg's team, and a first cohort study of around 110, I was going to say patients, sorry, I'm in clinician mode, students that have gone through have shown a statistically significant increase in knowledge and confidence score when it comes to bleeding control, knowing what bleeding is and having the confidence to act. And this is a really unique opportunity for us, combined with the VRP and John Moores University as well, to actually listen to the youth voice. What are the young people who are coming through the KnifeSavers programme saying? Why do their peers, their colleagues, why do they think they carry a knife? Well, this is what we hear loud and clear: protection, defence, scared. And this is something that we really want to explore further with the help of the Public Health Institute at John Moores and the VRP, to listen to this youth voice, the young people's voice, in much greater detail. And we have that opportunity. So very briefly, we've got a pretty big footprint now around the region. We're really proud about the connections and collaborations. We're really hard with Merseyrail to train their staff up. Again, the same education and knowledge that we're being given, and the same language we use in schools and colleges, we do to the Merseyrail staff as well. And there's kits in all regions and all stations of the network. We've worked with the Beatles story on and other institutions around the city centre area. So again, get another group of people who know how to control bleeding, how to recognise life-threatening bleeding, and what to do, as well as got a cabinet outside there. We're very lucky to have worked really hard with John Moores University, and we're part of their curriculum for both the paramedic courses and the student nurse courses. And pretty much anyone that comes through then is going to be a certified KnifeSavers trainer, and that allows us to propagate our training around. And we've got a lot of very close connections with the media who love what we do. They're brilliant. They're really good at just helping us spread that word about how do you stop bleeding. ABC. That's the way. That's the way we teach you. Really simple. ABC. We've had the opportunity to represent Merseyside at the national scale. We've been invited to Westminster, where we told them what we're doing in Merseyside and why we're going to make a difference. And we actually got listened to. The next big steps, which is this is where Nadine, I think, has asked me to come and talk today. This is where we need the help of our colleagues and friends in education, really. So we've done some work. We're trying to change the way we deliver our education. We've actually done some work with virtual reality as well, and that went live last year. I'm going to park that one to one side. We can probably explore that one a little bit later. But what's happening this year is e-learning. We can't be everywhere. We're full-time clinicians and working in various hospitals around the region and paramedics, etc. So what we've done is put all of this stuff that we've taught over the years online, and We have an e-learning platform that has been developed with videos, very short ones, of course, sort of some worksheets on there, just some very simple, straightforward narrative. I think it's about 6 or 7 modules, a few minutes each, like several minutes each, that's it. And we're going to offer them out to all schools and colleges that want to become a KnifeSavers school. And we can follow that up with a visit from one of our clinical team to come and talk. What we've been talking about over the last several months, a year plus probably, is how best to propagate that throughout the education ecosystem, as it were. And whether this be we facilitated sessions in PHSE or standalone sessions, I leave it up to the education community to approach us and just say, look, you know what, this would work really well for this year group in this format. And we're definitely keen for them to sort of very definitely keen to collaborate with them. This resource is free, so it's been very kindly funded by the VRP. Very final bits of tweaks are occurring now, and that'll be released imminently. So please watch this space. And then the very final thing I have to I'd like to let you know about and really would like some help with is a National Stop the Bleed Day. So it's a call to action to teach the all schools and all colleges, and actually anyone really, but we're going to focus on education, trying to get it into the DNA, into the heads of all young people growing up, and then repeat it every year after that. And what this is essentially teaching young people about recognizing life-threatening bleeding and what to do about it. And this is without a bleeding control kit. So if something happens, it's not just knife wounds. This is bleeding from any cause at all. April the 29th, 2026. Please watch this space there, which again, getting the final content, all the educational content will be online. The idea for the day will be a hybrid day. We'll be running live streamed sessions, 20 minutes or so every couple of hours, where we'll be running through the training, the education that we give. There'll be a huge resource pack online on the Stop the Bleed website of videos that can be used, the educational, the lesson plans, the aims, etc., etc. So please watch this space. And that's it, I think. Yeah, that's about it.
Thanks, Nikhil. Again, it's lots of food for thought, and one of the slides I was going to go on to share, following on from Nikhil, is something that a few colleagues online and Nikhil and I have been discussing in regards to the social norms approach and how that's embedded in some of the work that we're considering and moving forward with. And in that, we know statistically through our TIG data that 1%, and I think Jeff have recently published 2% of young people are carrying knives. So we know it's not the norm, and it's how do we continue to really provide robust initiatives and tools and skills and knowledge and understanding for our young people, but in a way that puts it in perspective. As we know, media and the online world can obviously contradict that. So that's really helpful, Nikhil. Thank you very much for your program and those two really useful things to be aware of. So the e-learning package, which will be coming to schools shortly, and then the Stop the Bleed Day, that's on the 29th.